Hello there, computer science educators. So today we're going to do a lesson on Boolean logic, okay? And it's going to be the GCSE OCR specification we're focusing on, okay? So what is Boolean logic then? Okay, so Boolean logic is a system of rules that computers use. Okay, it makes decisions, it deals with true or false values like our binary code, machine code, and ones or zeros. So basically, in effect, it's either it's on or it's off. One representing on and zero representing off. Okay, it's named after George. Okay, he was a mathematician who developed the system in the 1800s. Okay, so yeah, computers use Boolean logic in decision making. For example, in our programming, the if statements in programming, and it's searching and it's filtering data, and it uses it also for logic gates and circuits. Okay, so we've just discussed, haven't we? The Boolean zeros and ones. So we know the value of one is true, and that condition is met. And if it's false, um, condition is not met, and it's a zero. So we'll go back onto that in another lesson, but that just represents our Boolean daily data types of true and false. So we're focusing in today's lesson on operators, okay? Um, and we've got the not gates and we've got or. Okay, so with the not gate, it reverses the value. So an example of that, if it's not true, the result's going to be false. So if it's not true that I had Chinese for my dinner yesterday, so the result's going to be false if I was using that gate, the not operator. And so we know these both conditions have to be on. And these both conditions must be true, so both of them must be on, must be met. An example of this, so if we've got a true and false, so say for instance, I told one person I had Chinese, and I told another person I had spaghetti bolognese yesterday for dinner, that wouldn't be correct, would it? Because both of those answers are not going to be Chinese. I've told two people two different things. So we've got one true and one false in there. So the result would be false because both are not true, or both are not false. Our or operator, at least one condition must be true. Okay, so if one condition is true, then it is met. We'll go into a bit more detail as we go along. So this is the actual symbols, okay? So we've got the not gate, the little sideways triangle I refer to it as, and with a little, I like to draw them as well. And then a little, get practicing drawing them. My drawing's not very good, get practicing drawing them, okay? So we've got like an upside down triangle. I always do it like that first. Little nose at the end, and then we've got our inputs, and that's a not gate. Okay, that's a not gate. Got it there, good stuff. So this one, we're going to focus on the not the expressions. We're focusing on the symbol meanings at the moment. Okay, so the output is the opposite of the input, which we've just discussed. And it's a triangle with a small circle bubble at the end of the tip. And gates, we've just discussed that, haven't we? Where we need to make sure that we have two inputs. And I always say it's like a bit of a D. Yeah? Yeah, and it says it's a D shaped with two inputs. Okay? And both have to be on for you to get an output. So that has to be on, that has to be on, for that to be on. Okay? Good stuff. Right, an OR gate. Oh god, this one is a bit tricky, doesn't it? To draw. Let me see how my drawing's getting on. But always practice drawing them out. Especially, you know, if you're in year 11 and you're going to be having to do draw. I always go in a bit with my OR gate. Oh god, can you see it there? I go in a bit, like I give it a little. Where am I going? Oh, I can't get it on the screen. Oh yeah, my position, isn't it? Right, yeah. So I go in a bit. I go in a bit, okay? I'm going to finish drawing it off and then I'll show you. And then I kind of arch it round like I'm having like a spaceship there. Or a rocket on the side. Hang on, where am I? Come on. Oh! There we go. Okay? So that's our OR gate, okay? So if one of those inputs, either one is on, okay, you make sure you have your curly point. Okay, so here's a better example of them here again. So we've got the table there, what shows the operator. So we've got and we've got our OR gate, and we've got our NOT gates, and we've got, ignore the rectangular shape at the moment, and then the truth table. Okay, so if we're putting it out in a truth table, which we'll have a separate lesson on that, both inputs off on the AND, you can see if both are off here, the output is going to be off. Again here, if you can see one's on, it's going to be off. Still going to be off. And that other one's going to be off because it's only one's on. Here, it's on because we've got two on. Okay. With our OR, you can see we've got either two on, so it's on. There's not one on, so that's off. We've got one here on, so it'll be on. Okay, so just there's one on or two on. And then we've got the NOT gate, which is the opposite. Okay, it's always going to be the opposite of the input. Again, there's another image there. I am going to put some tasks on for you to complete yourself.